Hello, 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 all beautiful people. Give us here 1 second. Hello, Kingdom Influencers. This is day one of my 3-day live series, and I am super excited just to spend some time with you today. I'm going to assume that this is the very first time that you hear my voice and that you see me. My name is Megan Brainers. I am a #1 international best-selling author. I'm also a prophetic book coach, a mentor, and a speaker. So I have been announcing on my Facebook page that I want you to have quick wins, now wins for the month of September. So I'm going to be speaking about all things confidence when it comes to writing your non-fiction book. So before I deep dive into the content and also answering questions that you've left for me, I want to just start with a short story about myself, how I got into becoming a book coach, and why I am so passionate in helping kingdom influencers, leaders, global impact makers to write books to a global audience so that they can confidently walk in their calling. So I'm all about being purpose driven. I'm all about making impact, and I'm all about leaving a generational wealth legacy behind for the next generation. So, like I said, my name is Megan. I am a mom. I've got a son. His name is Joshua, married for almost a decade to my husband, David. And I serve in the capacity of coaching, of speaking, and as well as mentoring when it comes to helping emerging authors write legacy books. So for me, I was a senior flight attendant for 14 years. Yes, it is a long time. And I was traveling the world. And I believe that that was a pit stop for me. I believe also it was training ground for me to exercise my giftings, to write the goals down, to write the vision down. Because when I was retrenched in 2020, all of those things that I've written down, whether it be things that I've journaled about, came into fruition. Not overnight, and I just to give you a short snippet of like the what I have overcome in my personal and professional life, just so that you can understand why I'm so passionate about why and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I come from a background of people pleasing. So I'm a high achiever. I've got my master's in travel and tourism. So I'm a postgraduate, so I loved studying, right? I even to a point where I was like, when I was finished with my master's, I asked the Lord, okay, what is it that you want me to do now? And I actually pursued going as far as finishing my doctorates. And I sent my proposal. I was looking for a supervisor, but I just felt like that is not the direction that the Lord wanted me to go, because when the pandemic hit us, I had a travel company at the time, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do with the doctorate right now? Like, what is my assignment in the season? And that is exactly the question that I'm posing to you. You may even find yourself at a detour right now. You may even find yourself in a 9 to 5 right now, and you feel a tug at your heart that the Lord is calling you in another direction. I'm speaking to you as well. So I had skills, I had talents, but there was a few things missing, and that is when I started my journey of um, self-discovery, of being comfortable with my identity and where God has called me. So people pleasers never fulfill their purpose because they are always looking for approval from everyone. And I had to make a decision one day, and I said, you know what, Lord, I don't want to live my life for others. I don't want to base my decisions off of others' expectations of me. For years, teenage years, up until my 20s, even into my early 30s, I had to let go of all that expectations that people placed on me. And that is only when I started pivoting and when I really started growing and becoming the best version of God, who God has called me to be. So that is just in a nutshell. If you are tuning in, if you are watching live, say hi, let me know where you are from, which country you are from. Let me know what you are doing, just to give you also an idea of what you can expect over the 3 days. So the pillar that I'm going to be focusing on, like I said, is confidence. So confidence to show up, confidence to go live, confidence to do the things that you won't necessarily do, the things that's uncomfortable, confidence to finish that book, to write that book, to share that message, confidence to own that story. And I looked at some of the questions that you left for me on Facebook, and it all comes down to being confident with regards to where God is calling you and the assignment that He has given you. So I'm going to, over the next 3 days, journey with you, and I'm going to be speaking about foundational principles before you actually get to write the book. So you may have written a book before, but your assignment has changed. You now want to partner with God while you are writing the book. This may even be your very, very, very first book. And you want to make sure that your message is clear, that the audience that you are targeting is clear, and the impact that you want to make, that you actually plan towards that. So today we're speaking about confidence to write. Tomorrow we're going to deep dive into confidence in your message, right? That is so, so important, because if you're not clear on that, you're just going to end up writing nice books that doesn't really solve a problem. You want to make sure that you have a clear idea of where you want the book to go, and then also the community that you are looking to serve with the book that you are writing. And in day 3, which is on Thursday, we're going to take all of this, all the time that we spend together, all the content and the things that we've shared. I encourage you to be interactive and ask questions in the comment, because on day 3, you will have an opportunity to, I will hand out worksheets. You'll be able to opt in so that you can actually get the mini breakthrough and hit those goals that you want. So on day 3, we're going to be focusing on writing those goals, planning your book, the vision that you want for your book, and actually just getting things done and getting the procrastination, or, getting those fogginess and the mindset blocks, getting that out of the way. Does that sound good? Let me know. I can't see your comments right now, but as I go through it, I will definitely get back to you, and I'll answer any questions that you may have as well. So let's speak about confidence to write. So I've got so much content, but I am really going to be intentional to keep this video short, and just to get you a quick win starting today over the next 3 days. Is that okay with you? And if you have any specific questions to what I'm speaking, please let me know, and I will definitely get back to you. So I had a few questions from some of the ladies when I did say that I'm doing the live. So I'm going to just, include and incorporate that into the topic that I will be speaking. I want to start off by saying that if you are looking to be an expert in a certain, say for instance, you want to be an expert writer, you want to be a thought leader, it's not just going to happen, right? I believe that we need to behave, act our way to success where we want to be. So like I've shared, I was a flight attendant for 14 years, right? I was in a corporate environment. I served ministers, presidents. I was in contact with these kind of people. So it wasn't, there was a certain protocol that we needed to follow and all those type of things. So when I transitioned and I came from flying and I now started to pursue authorship, I had to have a mindset shift. So the first thing that I want to tell you is, if you want to start writing that impactful book, you need to transition from an employee mindset, right, to a CEO. So you may be in a 9-to-5 right now, but perhaps you want to shift in your mindset already as you are planning, maybe you will do the 9 to 5, but you're also pursuing coaching, consulting, or writing a book, because writing a book is a whole new business on its own. You want to make sure that you think about what you are thinking. So we can no longer have an employee mindset where we are waiting for people to give us the tools. We need to create the tools. We need to be creative, and we need to get to a place where we partner with God with regards to making decisions and then also following through with the strategies that He has given us. So I think that is so huge, because that is why we can't even get started. That is why we're not clear on our message, and that is why we don't get the things done that needs to get done. So number one, like I said, moving from an employee mindset to a CEO mindset. That's the first step. The second one is surrendering your ideas and your plans and submitting to the assignment, right? We're speaking about being mission driven and purpose driven. Where has God called you to? Are you clear on your purpose? Are you clear on your calling? If not, it's going to be very difficult for you to write a book on purpose. So I'm going to just help you with that a little bit, and I'm going to give you some tools and just a little bit of mindset shift so that you can get into a space of getting the things done. So I'm just speaking over some of the questions that you asked, because I actually want to answer it. I know Anita asked me, what are the first steps that needs to happen when you write the first or the next book? And for me, it's definitely building up confidence. These are foundational principles, because if you are not confident in writing, or if you aren't confident in the sphere or the field where God has called you to, it's going to be difficult to portray that message. And I want to say that some of you may be working for an employer right now with amazing skills and amazing talents, but you're still sitting on your spiritual giftings. And that is why you're not getting the desired breakthrough. Because we tell ourselves that we are not experts subconsciously, and that is why we fall short. So if you are in a job, or if you are doing a specialized skill, you are already an expert in a certain field. You may not be at the time as an author, but your mindset needs to change. These are the first steps. First steps are mindset shifts before you even put pen to paper. Where are you currently finding yourself? Where are you currently finding yourself personally? Where are you currently finding yourself emotionally? So these are questions that you need to, even before you start chapter 1, dedication, all those things. But get a pen and paper and block of time that you spend with yourself, number one, and then also that you spend with God. You need to be intentional when you are setting goals and you are planning and you're setting a vision. You can't pick up writing and then leave it again, and then pick it up and then leave it again, right? It's inconsistent. You need to show up for yourself first before you even do that live. So if you make up your mind and you say, today, I'm going to write down goals that I'm going to set for myself, or today, even just one thing, a lot of us are multi-gifted, we are multi-creative, and we're looking at that big thing, we're looking at that big goal, and that is a problem. You need to start breaking it down, and yes, you want to know the steps. Yes, you want to write on goals. Yes, you want to know the book that you want to write, but it's just too much information. It's information overload, and that is why you're not getting the things done. Start by breaking down, like I'm doing now. I'm speaking about confidence, the pillars. That's going to be the pillar for the month of September, and I'm breaking down different areas that you can look into when it comes to confidence. But as multi-gifted entrepreneurs, we have this big vision and this big plan and this big dream. We want to finance the kingdom. We want to, all these big things. But what can you do now? What can you do today to move the needle in your personal life and in your business? So journal it out, write it out. If you need a soundboard, if you need an accountability partner, surround yourself with like-minded people. Get into environments where they're speaking about books. Get into environments where they're speaking about writing and about authorship. if you're not in environments where they speak that language, then it's going to be foreign to you. Then you're going to struggle. It's going to take longer for you to actually get the things done. So look at your environment, look at your tribe, right? Are they helping you grow? Are they your destiny helpers and those type of things? So first and foremost, write these things out, journal it out, spend time in conversation with God, ask him, am I still on the right track? These are questions I had to ask when I transitioned from being a flight attendant to coaching. I was awakened to purpose. I was unlocked in lockdown, but there's things that I needed to do. There was action steps that I needed to take. There was decisions that I needed to make, and there was people that I needed to let go. So be real with yourself and say, I'm now, this is my assignment, right? Writing a book as an assignment from the Lord. These are the clients that I'm called to. I'm not just saying that, okay, just write it for fun, right? Or just write it just to get it off your bucket list. No, that is not what I've been called to do. I'm called to help you and to, as God is positioning you for your prophetic destiny. But you need to get all that junk out. You need to, have the mindset shifts, fill in the worksheets, and just get all that's inside of you with all the books that you want to write. Because a lot of us, we've got 20 titles. We have 30 different areas that we want to write in. And that is why we never finish or actually solving a problem with the book. So choose one thing that you're going to focus on this week. Let's speak about this week, and then pray into it, and then just ask the Lord for clarity as we're going to be journeying together. Like I said, on day 3, you're going to get a worksheet, because I don't just want this to be an information session, because as believers, we've got a lot of information, actually overload, but I want you to implement and take action on the things that we're going to be speaking about. Some things will be caught as I'm speaking. It will resonate with you. And some things I will probably teach you or train you, or, maybe it's something that you've heard before, but you've never really actioned it deliberately. So let that be your posture over these 3 days. As you are receiving, you are actually implementing as well. So some other questions. So overcoming overthinking. And this is part and parcel got to do as well with the noise that's in the online space. So you might be a consultant, you might be an expert, you might be a kingdom leader, but there's so many noises. This one is telling you to do this, someone else is telling you to do that. And once again, for me, what helps me is because a lot of times when I get assignments or I get tasks, or if I do launches as an entrepreneur, I tend to overthink, or perfectionism kicks in. And once again, it comes in being confident in who you are and being confident in who God has called you to be. So if you are going to be overthinking, you are actually being double-minded, and you're actually doubting what the Lord is asking you to do. And a lot of times this can be our downfall. We've received the instruction, or you've set a goal for yourself, but you're overthinking it, and you're repeating the process, you're repeating the steps, but you're really not trusting God, right? You want to step out and you want to do it in your own strength. So once again, it's an internal check, it's self-evaluation, it's re-evaluating, where's the thought coming from? Why am I even having these thoughts? Once again, writing these things out and finding the underlying issue and problem that is actually causing you to procrastinate and not finish well. So as I'm talking, I am looking to see if you are leaving any, perhaps if you want me to give you feedback on anything, but I can also just get back to you afterwards as well. So when it comes to the writing portion as well, you don't want to overthink the process, because it is a process after all, and you need to trust the process. So if you're already thinking about, while you haven't even written chapter 1, and you're already thinking about how many words or what your word count is, then your vision is out of order, right? You are focusing on the wrong thing. You need to shift your focus, right? So you don't want to be thinking, okay, how many pages should my chapter be? How many words should my book be? Like, no. those are perhaps you would, even as you set out, we're going to discuss this in day 3, but as you do your goal setting, and as you do your planning, and as you do your vision casting, I will show you how to basically, you need to hone this, you need to hone yourself in. You will cast a vision, you write the plan down, you write the goal down, but then I will show you how to, go from where you want to be and actually, move back to where you started. Because what we do is we are in the future, this is a vision God has given me, especially, those of us that's multi-gifted. This is what I want to do, but we struggle in the now. We struggle with the practicality, right? We struggle with getting things done now. So what can you do today? What can you do tomorrow? And what can you do in this week to get over the barrier of overthinking, right? Is it spending time in the secret place with God, 50 minutes? Is it, attending a free workshop so that I can just get into the room with people that think the way I would like to think? So those type of things. What are you doing differently? What books are you reading? And when you are reading the books, how many times are you spending to actually write down what have you gone through? What's the personal experiences that you've gone through? What have you overcome? Because a lot of us, we don't write these things down. It's all in our head. So when it comes to actually putting pen to paper, we're not sure where to place a story. We're not sure what lessons have I learned. I promise you, so I'm called to seasoned women in the marketplace and ministry between the ages of 40 and 65. And most of my clients are in their 60s. And when I ask them, like, have you written down like your lessons and your experiences and why did this happen, or your accomplishments? And then they would say no. The exercise that we do together might even be the very first time that they actually have written things down. So I cannot stress enough the importance of getting everything that's up here, getting it on paper and actually reading it, releasing it, and coming into agreement with God's word for your life. A few other questions that I got was how to set goals. So we're going to do that on day 3. I'm going to just show you short, quick action steps that you can do just to get yourself focusing on one and, measuring that. And then I spoke about finding a soundboard, getting an accountability partner, and I think most importantly, trusting yourself. Trusting that what you have to say matters. When it comes back to confidence. And if you don't feel confident, it doesn't mean that, it's just going to happen. Sometimes you have to practice your way to being confident. Maybe the first live you're nervous. The second live you stutter. That's okay. But by the third and the fourth, you become more confident. You would flow better because you are partnering with God. So those type of things. But you have to put yourself out there and be willing to show up for where you want to go with God in the process. I'm just going to answer 2 more questions before I close today's live. So mapping out the book and getting a guideline. Tia asked that question, and she also asked, okay, let me speak about mapping out the book and guidelines for that. So when you get, all these emotions out on paper, you debunk some of the myths, like you have to have a word count. You deal with the beliefs that have keep you stuck. You write down the beliefs that is not helping you, not serving your purpose. You can write it on the one side of the page, and on the other side of the page you can write down maybe scriptures. For instance, you do not have to, like, condemnation doesn't come from God, guilt doesn't come from God, shame doesn't come from God, conviction comes from the Holy Spirit. So those type of things, but identifying where the rewiring and the reframing of old narratives take place. That is something huge, and it's something big, and it's going to be the game changer for you. You need to rewire and reframe your thinking. What old thinking patterns is no longer serving you? This is a huge thing, because it's actually going to help you to get breakthrough, and then also to get to your goals faster. But you need to be aware of old narratives that is no longer serving you. So when you do your pre-journaling, when you write these things down, and when you spend time in the secret place, you know, these things, when you ask the right questions, these are the type of things that will start surfacing that you can either repent about or that you can reframe on the spot, right? You are no longer going to be entertaining these type of thinkings or these ideas and styles, and you're now going to surround yourself with people that think differently, and you know, they are ready now to go to the next level. And then the last question was how to be inspired for words. My motto really in life is that I get to a place where I, number one, encourage myself in the Lord, and whatever motivation and encouragement that I need to get things done comes from internally. Because what happens is I'm past the stage where I put expectations on people to make me happy. I'm past the stage where I put expectations on people to move me and to give me confirmation on what I know that God has told me to do. So moving from revelation is greater than moving from confirmation. And this is a shift. It's a spiritual growth. It's a spiritual maturity and development that needs to take place. So yes, you know, I love reading Joyce Meyer's books. I probably had every book when I started out like 10 years ago. I love being inspired by T.D. Jakes. I love being inspired by women of faith. But you are authentic. You are a creative in your own strength. So it needs to happen from the inside out. Yes, people can possibly be our role models. You know, we can get ideas from them. But how can you inspire yourself? Like, I'm sure even when you're in a company, people will say, wow, you inspire me. Like, what are the things that they're complimenting you on? Are you downplaying that? Or are you receiving those words? So looking at your own strengths, looking at your own giftings, and celebrating yourself, right? Celebrating your progress, celebrating your wins, and getting that inspiration from the gratitude and from the thankfulness and from the revelations that God has given you. If you know your gifting, spiritual gifting, that's even better. If you are even a person that loves exhortation and loves edifying, use that even in the marketplace, not just in ministry. Use it in your writing, right? Even when you're writing your book, that is where you get the inspiration from the Holy Spirit. Not necessarily or just from people, but using all the resources and stewarding that well. So I will definitely deep dive into that a little bit more, because that will basically go into being confident in the message that God has given you. A lot of anointed women or men in the ministry and in marketplace, they are not clear on the mission, the vision that God has asked him to steward in this season. So I want to help you to get a quick win, and we're going to definitely go into that. If you have any other questions with regards to confidence to write, let me know and I'll answer it in the comments. But tomorrow we're going to deep dive into confidence in your message, which is going to help you to actually get the chapters and map out your book quicker, faster, so that you can impact on a global scale. So that's it from me. Like I said, tomorrow we could be deep dive into confidence in your messaging. And then the last day, we're going to have an activity, perhaps also some more activations for you to actually implement. I don't just want you to receive the info, but I want you to filter it and to continue to interact with me as we spend time together. So that's it from me, everyone. Megan Brain is your Kingdom Coach, best-selling author, mentor, and speaker. I will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. SA time, and that would be 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me know in the comments. We'll continue the conversation, and I will then get back to you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.